it is doing me a huge favour just recording all this because I'm riding a lot slower. Look at this, 39 miles an hour in a 50, and I've just sat quite happily behind the queue of this little Fiat 500 causing. Um, Behind someone else on a bike. But that's like I don't know what they're up to. South Africa twin or something. Something very sensible at the very least. So yeah. Also tyres. Going back to that, um, I've gone up 5 mil in profile. So I originally I was 190 50 17. Now I've gone 190 55 17. And you know how you speedos are always a little bit over. So this used to say like 45, and then Waze would say I'm doing 40. Well, now, for example, 45 on the dash, and I'm doing 44. So that 5 mil in profile has really like brought it back in. Um, so it's just something I need to keep an extra eye on, because I've not got that extra little bit to play off. Anyway, so yeah, but so I've gone up 5 mil in profile, gone up to 55s. That is because apparently it makes it easier. Well, it's not apparently. It makes the bike more turnable. So it kind of puts the tyre at like more of a peak at the top, so it's less squared. Basically, it's the opposite of a square tyre. So when you go to lean it, it just wants to go. Yeah, there's no messing around with it from that sense. Um, Only thing is, I don't know whether it's the crash or what. I wouldn't have thought it's the crash because I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I don't really get like nervous after things like that. Um, but I wasn't leaning it as much as I was at Brands Hatch um, as to what I was doing at Snetterton. I was doing the 300. I had a good laugh there. It was, yeah, good time. The track is obviously much bigger than the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, but Brands Hatch is much more. It's much more up and down. It's much. It's not as well. It's not flat at all. Whereas with Snetterton, it is flat, and I found it a little bit. I don't know if I'd say challenging. Yeah, maybe I found it more challenging in the fact that because it's all flat, I was struggling to like have mental markers. So right, okay, like at Brands Hatch, come out of the pits, got that big kind of swooping down right hander. You're going up to the right hand hairpin, and you're coming down to the left hand. And there's all these up and downs. I'm never going to forget that left hand after the hairpin now because I bloody fell off there. Um, but Snetterton, it's like a desert land. It's just vast, flat land. There's not really much to it. There's a couple corners which are, I don't know what you'd call them, like cambered or cupped. Um, Especially after the chicane. There's one there, I think. But I mean, Brands Hatch. After this first time around there, after the second session, I was quite confident of my way around that track, which maybe is quite poor. Should really, you have your sight and laps and all that stuff. You should really pick it up quicker. I don't know. Um, Whereas if Snetterton, it wasn't really until like after lunch. So we pulled off third gear. So yeah, it's one of those. Snetterton's a much quicker track as well than Brands Hatch. So there's a lot more markers like brake markers and things like that. Um, it's got some much bigger corners, much bigger corners. So really, and like I said, I haven't managed to lean this over as far as what I was at Brands Hatch on the slightly short profile tyres, and theoretically, arguably, worse tyres at Brands Hatch. So I was on the Michelin Road 6s, whereas if now I'm on the Battle Axe the S23s, they should be they should be sticking a lot more. Should be really holding his own. And maybe I was just struggling with tyre pressures and all that kind of good stuff again. Um, who knows? There's a little bit of tearing from, because these are like a dual. Oh, just gonna squeeze it near me. Oh, fucked up here. Right, hold on. Hold on. Let me just squeeze out there. Yeah, there's a bit of tearing, a bit of like, you see it when it goes from that middle compound and it gets to that soft compound on the side. You can see there's a bit of tear in there. What's that? Fucking seagull? Yeah, definitely want to miss that. Jesus. Um, so yeah, I don't know, and I can't say actual feel wise. Maybe there is a bit more feedback on these, but I've not ridden these in any other temperatures below 25 degrees. I don't know what's going on with this weather. This is absolutely mental. I saw, yeah, a road for out of where I live, and like even here, everywhere is just burnt to a crisp. The only thing you've got to live in are weeds. I don't even know how they're still living. So, yeah, it's all. I don't know what's going on with this weather. I'm not complaining. There's going to be some issues. Hosepipe ban's annoying because I've got a neighbour that I don't particularly get along with, so I definitely couldn't get away with that.